I have a few comments. I think I'll follow up on what Mr. Waterman said first, and then I want to go somewhere else. But I also spoke to people both at Dickinson and Ferris, and I was so sad to see the sensationalism that the Jersey Journal, well, you pick up the paper and you wonder why you buy it, but all the good things that happen in our schools, and to wake up to see about these riots or so-called riots. But I do think the board has to take responsibility for the fact that we can't let it happen again. I do not believe, and I've talked to a number of people, that these incidents were as serious as they were sensationalized in the paper. But I do believe, for instance, Dickinson High School was prioritized by our Board Facilities Committee as the #1 priority facilities project for us. We were not allowed by the State School Construction Authority to do anything about the fact that the school has over 3,000 students in one building. I believe that the administration of that school is wonderful, and that they're saints to be able to manage a school that has that many students and that many faculty on a day-to-day basis. So there's one issue. I mean, if we wanted to just take that situation of what happened at Dickinson, you could probably trace it back to the fact that the building, though well-maintained and a wonderful education facility at most times, is too crowded. It needs a freshman academy, probably off-site, and it also needs some sort of something else done at lunch. The lunch situation, both of these incidents, I believe, both at Ferris and Dickinson, occurred after the students went out to lunch and came back. And I think we should look at it. I really think sometime over the next month or before the end of this, not the school year, but the calendar year, when something like this happens, because if I was a mother of a child or a father of a child going to that school, I would be scared to send them back. And so for the students who, go there every day and want to learn, it's really a shame that the situation we're in forces them into a situation where something like this occurs. I also think that, at least to me, reading it, it seemed to me that almost like there were more adults trying to control the situation than students involved. And I really haven't had a chance to talk to anybody about it, because it just kind of happened, and then we got called into committee meetings. So I think if something like that happens, and thank heavens nothing serious happened in terms of no one was seriously hurt, I thank all the people in the building and the staff in the building that took care of the situation and kept it so that none of our children were hurt. But Mr. DeRosa has been here 10 years asking for a serious look at block scheduling. And when we talked about it tonight, again, I heard people come up, I think it was Ron Greco came up and he said, you gotta look at block scheduling. Well, we've been saying it for 10 years. So I hope that this year, this board, it's a new board, a different board, or same board, whatever it is, I hope that we can prioritize maybe at our retreat, some of these issues, and say that at least that we will address it, because it really is a serious issue. I wanted to say something to the gentleman and the lady that talked about the dance and the diversity, and back to Sterling's issue of tolerance. I don't know why. I know we have RFPs now and everything's going to bid and all that stuff, but I do hope that the diversity that the Indian community seemed to have experienced, as was presented at this woman's, the woman who stood up. I hope that if we can't do it because of a bid, that we find some other way to try to, I just Googled while I was sitting here. It's the advantage of having your board computer. There are 22 Hindi holidays before the end of the calendar year. And whether it's Hindi or whether it's Diwali or whether it's all sorts of other holidays. I mean, the one thing you can say that the Jersey City Schools does right and it's known for is its diversity, and we celebrate our diversity. So if for some reason we can't do this program with one group, let's make sure that before the meeting ends, we said that we would come back to it under finance, but we really got caught up in something else. So I just want to say that I know Dr. Epps is always good about this, to promote diversity, and I hope that we'll be able to do something in this area. And the third thing, and I wanted to thank Pam for coming. I almost ran her over the other day. Sorry, I almost ran you over. Coming out of number 5. But I do want to say I feel a little uncomfortable when anybody gets up and thanks only part of the board, because, but I know where you're coming from, but all of us are volunteers and we put in an enormous amount of hours, and even though we don't agree on all issues, we certainly all agree on supporting each other. Thank you.
Any other comments, board members? Thank you, Ms. Mack. Any other?